one message for you two from your aunt. She will bust both of you in the head. Can y'all hear me?
Not rocket science,
I think you, like me, have a face for radio.
Can y'all hear me?
We gonna play with the players we got. Next man up.
That's why it sucks.
I'm not talking to you. I'm not talking to you.
This kind of unprofessionalism does not need to be tolerated. I mean it.
Can y'all hear me? Can y'all hear me? Can y'all hear me? Can y'all hear me?
What the hell is going on here? Just all hang up.
Another episode of the BS Podcast.
Hang on.
Moran.
Hang on. There's all kinds of noise in my ear now.
Oh, jeez.
We need a little bit more professionalism.
What's up, everybody? Can you hear me? Is everybody there? Okay, good. We're live, and I'm your host today. I'm Amber, and I'm the host because Quincy's in his car and can't control our dashboard. I'm excited to be here, even though we lost, but we're going to dive into all of those things. And I'm also on a different computer today, so I'm a little lost as to what's going on because I'm at Wild Bill's house.
Yay!
And Wild Bill might need to shut the door to the room he's in because I can hear myself through the headphones.
Yeah.
I'm not across the street from this guy, and this guy is, I don't know where he is. So none of us are in our normal places except, well, Wild Bill and Austin are. So I love Austin's little thing that says I'm just here so I don't get fined. Everybody welcome Wild Bill. Wild Bill, introduce yourself and tell us who you are.
I'm Wild Bill. Roll Tide, even though we lost. I live in Tyler, Alabama, bivocational pastor. What can I say?
All right, Austin, tell us who you are.
I am the best thing that's ever happened to Bill Smith. So there's that.
Get delirious.
Okay. I'm son-in-law to Bill and Cindy, and Amber's my wife. So.
And I'm Amber, clearly. Too excited to be here today, especially without, caffeine in my life. And the Q-Dog is here. He is muted, and I cannot unmute him. But introduce yourself, Q-Dog, and tell us who you are.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? It is me, the Q-Dog, and I got to tell you, when this podcast becomes more and more interactive, things like what Austin just said are going to help you with the smell feature because it would smell like BS. You wouldn't just hear and see a lot of BS.
There you go. Well,
Q-Dog and Josh, who I am assuming will not be joining us today, they were in Tuscaloosa over the weekend. And
it's their fault.
It is their fault that we lost because they were in Tuscaloosa. We're blaming
They allowed the Moran boys to be in the stadium, and we lost.
Yes.
Their fault.
Yeah, we weren't in Tallahassee this year, but
but it looked like somehow Josh got down there on the field and played. So that's exactly what lost us the game.
Yes, he was playing quarterback and wide receiver like Bugs Bunny from the cartoons and just could not throw the ball to himself effectively.
I think he was playing right guard myself.
Oh my gosh. Well, I figured, which Q-Dog, you may hate this idea, but since we lost and there's not as much to talk about, I thought we'd throw our structure out the window today and just have a full-on family conversation about our loss. I know Wild Bill still has his points, but his bullet points, your points, all without the timer and the intros because
What now? She's fun. Now she's exciting.
Yeah.
Now she's letting us live without rules. What's going on?
Well, you know what? I'm the host today, and I'm not usually the host.
That's right. What she says goes. She's the host, so let it rip however you see fit. I'm
All
not here to
right.
micromanage.
So just really quick, I know Wild Bill has his bullet points. Wild Bill, tell us what your bullet points are. Actually, I want to play his intro because I like the AI. So I couldn't miss a chance to see my dad in AI. So, Wild Bill, let's go.
All right. Quincy, I hope y'all had a good time other than the ball game. Hope you've had a good trip, safe trip. I guess Jeannie must be driving.
Yes, sir. She's driving, and a major shout out to Jeannie for driving me through over to the Kroger so I could utilize the facility before this program and not be this guy.
Way to go.
In the name of Jesus, touch Jeannie as she's driving that automobile. Keep them safe. We pray for a hedge of protection around that vehicle. In the
That's
name
right.
of Jesus.
Hallelujah.
Oh, word.
Preach, brother, preach.
I'm out.
All right, quickly. A lot of them going to be pertaining to Oklahoma.
That's great.
Mr. Robinson was their leading ball carrier. Now, you think about this. We talk about how bad our running game is. Their leading rusher, 34 yards on 10 carries. Mateer was 15 of 23 for 138 yards. Mr. Bowen had a 87-yard interception return for a touchdown. We had 3 turnovers, 2 fumbles, and an interception. Killed us. We had a total of 132 yards of offense in the second half. The Sooners had 17 points off of our Bama turnovers.
Mm-hmm.
Now, check this one out. Bama had 167 more yards, 10 more first downs, nearly 9 more minutes of possession, and 23 more plays than Oklahoma in the first half. That's what happened in the first half.
Wow.
But we forget we have to play a second half to
That's
go
right.
along with the first half. Ty Simpson had 80 yards passing in the second half after he threw for 246 in the first half. Oklahoma had 3 of its 4 sacks in the second half. Number 10, our special teams are bad.
Oh, yeah. To say the least.
Our last one, Oklahoma was 3 of 13 on third downs. So there's my bullet points.
That are your bullet points.
That's all of them.
All right. I know that Quincy was texting in our group that he had some major thoughts. So, Quincy, will your thoughts kind of flow along with his bullet points, or do you need your own time?
No, I think we can get to those thoughts, a little bit later because I'm thinking through some of those and, in real time want to think through some of the challenges. But just to talk for a minute, about this particular football game, I think it's probably the most frustrating game of the season from my point of view, and has to be from the players' perspective, because much like the first game of the season, we definitely didn't play to our potential. But that game we had a couple chances to win. This game, we just absolutely handed it over to Oklahoma, and there's a lot to unpack relative to the game. But Wild Bill, do you think it was a second like halftime adjustments that really just caused Alabama to fizzle out in the second half? What do you think led to that? Because it was so puzzling how inept our offense was, in the second half. Props to the defense. Our offense did nothing to help them out.
Right.
Next to nothing the entire football game. And I was impressed with the defense for sure.
Right.
I was very
Because-
proud of our defense.
To go from 246 yards passing the first half to 80, but there again, this is 3 games in a row where our quarterback has been off. But I listened to what Brent Venable said and read an article yesterday. Oklahoma didn't blitz very much in the first half. They were kind of, I guess, baiting Alabama. But then the second half, they ramped the pressure up, and they did show blitzes that they haven't used all year, where they'd have 4 down linemen sometimes. And there's even, he was talking about this running like their cornerbacks even on blitzes. They haven't been doing that. But still, Jim Miller, he fanned twice on blitzing linebackers. Didn't even, I don't know what he was doing. Daniel Hill, he initially blocked the guy, but he let him off of him, and that's where the strip sack occurred. But I have 2 questions for the offense. Why in the last 3 possessions, Cuevas never was thrown the football? The last 3 times he's running wide open all day, you're throwing to him, and then in crunch time, he's non-existent to the offense. And then for nearly, I heard this yesterday, we got the ball back with 7 minutes and something, and when you go back and you watch what took place, Ty Simpson took nearly 4 minutes off of the clock when we got to the line of scrimmage, and him doing all of his checking off and all of this, running the play clock down. Why have we allowed this to happen when we do so good in a 2 minute hurry up offense?
Yep.
And
No.
you've gone less than 50 yards, you've gone 40 yards, and you've already run over 5
Not
minutes
this time.
off the clock. So,
Yep.
Sorry about that. We had a little activity outside the van.
You're good. One thing I've wondered, and I didn't play ball, obviously. Why do we not do more hurry up? Because I mean, I didn't see the last quarter of the game. Our church had revival, and so I left at the beginning of the 4th quarter. And I didn't watch it much over Austin's shoulder while we were there. But I feel like we're usually successful when we're running a hurry up. So why are we not doing that more? And my other question, okay, I can wait for my other question. But why is that? Because I didn't play ball, so I don't really know what the big deal is. But when it looks like you're playing better running that, why would you not just maybe not run it the whole game, but run it more often?
Yeah, I think that's an excellent question.
I would love to know.
And I think it goes along with I'll complement that question once I talk through it a little bit. But your hurry up offense really demands that you have the ability to run the football, because it all depends on you being able to get plus yards over and over again to gain momentum on the drive. So what we tend to do, it seems, and I don't have the data to back this up, but what we tend to do is, for some reason, we run it up the middle and we get 1 or no yards, maybe sometimes 2 yards. And so that puts us in 2nd and long. And then we don't call a great play, or we don't execute properly on 2nd down. So it puts us in 3rd and long positions. And that really without the ability to run the ball, that puts Ty in a very, very bad position because now he's got to make great throws and our receivers have got to make great catches. But the part that's the most difficult, in my opinion, is our offensive line's ability to block effectively. Now, while Bill, correct me if I'm wrong, but you were saying that in the last 3 possessions we didn't throw the ball to Cuevas, but I thought on that last possession that we had, we threw the ball to Cuevas and he missed it, and that's what put us behind the sticks. Is that not
The ones that we listened to said the last 3 possessions, Cuevas was not thrown the ball. And if
Okay.
that's so, why not? But what kind of play call was that on 4th down?
Why you're throwing split out to the other side of the field, to the far hash when you're on the right side of the field, throwing an out route that if he catches it, it's still probably not a first down. You're going to be short. Knowing you're going to get pressure, and we've ate the middle of the field up all day. I don't understand why you expect your guys to block and throw that all the way to the other side of the field. That makes no sense to me.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Well,
and so hopefully that answers your question there, Amber. And to complement your question, I'd love to get everybody's thoughts. It seems that our defense has become very adaptable to what the offense does, and we're getting better after the half, but something is going on, and it has been, I think, for most of the season. Even if you go back to the Georgia game, our inability to score after the second half. So why is our offense lacking the ability to be adaptable, whether they're blitzing or not, in the first half, and they do something different in the second half? Where is our ability to make adjustments and to become adaptable offensively? Because the defense is doing something great. I mean, they are doing something great. And we've really given Kane Womack, we've called for his firing multiple times, and now he's the guy who's coming around. So why are we not adaptable on offense?
Some of what's weird to me, I don't feel like we call games the same way in the second half. I feel like at times we get really conservative, and at times we play safe, but there's things that's working and would work in the second half, and I don't understand why we shy away from it. I don't know if we've got a different script to start the second half, and it's not as good.
Well, you would think they would just make changes
Well,
when you see it doesn't work. Okay, so to follow up what I was saying and then what Quincy said about needing success to run the ball, my second question was, so why are we not, which Saturday I did feel like we used Daniel Hill more, but it was like every time like he would get momentum going, they would take him out and put Jam in, and Jam would squash any momentum that we had. It's like Jam is just, I don't know what Jam's on, but he needs to get off of it.
Speaking of that, I have a picture to go along with that. If you make one step and cut, look at all this green grass over on the left side of the field. That makes me sick. I mean, there were holes there regardless. I mean, I thought we got a pretty good push on this play, but if you plant your foot and cut up field, my word.
Yeah, because you go from the 42 where the line of scrimmage was, you look how far back. They've already pushed them back 3 yards.
Yeah. Yep.
And I noticed it when the play happened. He had all of this area.
Yep. And look at the one person on the offensive line getting beat right there. That looks like Wilcom Thornby. Yep.
But
pushed into the backfield.
But there again, what happened to the boy from County High that's the quickest of all of them? He'd had that and cut
Well,
back.
I'm just trying to figure out why they keep Jam Miller and when finally Saturday they did start kind of rotating him and the Daniel Hill kid. That's so good. But like, why are we not utilizing more people when Jam sucks?
Kevin Riley was a star to start the season, and we've seen him 2 or 3 plays a game max since since Jam came back.
Well, let me
Yeah.
ask Quincy. He was there. Quincy, because on the TV, because Cindy mentioned it, and I did. Like Amber talking about, we'd get rolling, but it seemed like that Hill, after about 3 carries in a row, you could tell he was sort of gasping for air. Was it because he's not in shape? I mean, he's in shape, but to be able to carry the ball 20 or 25 times a game.
Yeah, I mean that's a great question, and he's definitely in shape. But when you talk about somebody who's nearly 250 pounds,
Yeah.
it takes a lot of oxygen to run those muscles.
Ask me how I know.
Well, I said Austin. I said muscle. So, and when you like one of the prime examples I'll give you guys is Conor McGregor when he fights at 135 as opposed to 170. He has his air, his wind goes a lot further at 135 than it does at 170 pounds because it takes so much more oxygen, to run that amount of muscle. Now, the anomaly, I guess, would be Derrick Henry because that guy just seemed to get stronger as the carries continued. So he's a freak of nature in a great way. But I don't know. It's a lot harder when you're there and things are going on to really catch the particulars of the game like you can on TV, at least for me anyway. And, I really had to measure, how I interacted with the game because we had an OU family in front of us and they had 3 little girls there. So I couldn't necessarily, get all in on the game like I normally would. And there are just various distractions around the field, and even next to you on the bench. So I'm not a great gauge, for what was exactly happening during the game, like I am when I'm able to watch the game on TV.
Well, because it says to me like, how many years have you heard if a team's blitzing, screen passes and quick slants, and you tie the end over the middle, it'll beat that eventually. They'll stop blitzing.
Yep.
How many slants did we throw? None that I can recall. How many screen passes did we attempt?
Well, and another thing that makes me sick about that fourth down call is that guy's lined up probably knowing that Ryan's going to run an out route. I mean, he played it the whole way like he knew exactly what Ryan was going to do. So then that left the middle of the field wide open for a slant.
Mm-hmm.
And in those situations, there's got to be a way for us to check out of that and based off of leverage, know where your guy's going to go. For some reason, that don't happen.
But also, when you're running the hurry up, sort of to answer Amber about the 2 minute, I thought the hurry up was to get the defense tired.
Yeah.
But when you're running it and you get up to the line of scrimmage and you let 20, 25 seconds run off, the defense has done had time to catch the press.
Yeah.
Because I did notice this. Now I don't know if Quincy did. There were several times that we was going into the hurry up, and Oklahoma wasn't more lined up for nothing to be done. All we had to do was snap the ball, run a play, and they was out of
noticed
position.
that.
But when you're, I'm not a football expert. Why can our coaches that are not being paid big money watch film and see this stuff?
Yeah, the idea is that they're supposed to, and more than once there was confusion, for our offense on who was supposed to be on the field, and there was confusion on, what it seemed like what the play either was going to be or what. I could not figure out why we were unable to get into a rhythm. And like you say, when you are going to when you're running hurry up, the idea is to keep that defense on the field, get them on their heels,
Right.
get them guessing at what you're going to do. So when you go up there and you take additional time to try and get your play set, you are giving them time, A, to make adjustments, and B, to sort of rest and see what your offense is going to do.
Right.
So
Yeah.
That's it.
it did not seem like it didn't seem like we were as sharp as we needed to be, and we have come out flat. Now, look, like Nick Kelly said on an X post, he said he talked about the amount of production that we had. And we did have a significant amount of production, most of it coming, in the first half, but production does not equal points.
Right.
And when you couple production without points and you lose the turnover battle, which was our strong suit coming into the game,
Yep.
you take your opportunities off the table. And even with all of that, we still had the ball in our hand with 7 minutes in change left to make one of those game-winning drives, and we totally failed to execute. And like you say, 4 minutes worth of time making adjustments at the line to result in nothing. And I think this is where my other point comes in, which I was talking about, and something I'd like to talk through with all of you. And it is being so one-dimensional. I think being as one-dimensional as we are, I think Ty is taking too much responsibility on himself, and the idea that he's going to have to carry our football team and he's going to have to make plays because he cannot rely on our running game. And when it comes down to it, he cannot rely on our offensive line to protect him properly, that it is inhibiting his ability just to play football.
Yep.
Do you guys see that, or do you think I'm wrong?
No, I agree with that completely, because I feel like a lot of these missed passes, it's been anticipating that he's going to get hit, anticipating that there's going to be a guy there when he's like that pass the other night that he got strip sacked on. Another half second, he had a guy streaking down the middle wide open. So later on in the game, he probably anticipates that, and doesn't want to get hit and lose the ball again. So I feel like he's definitely feeling the pressure. I think instead of playing free like he did the first half of the season and just playing his style of ball, he's worried about messing up. So now he's not trying to throw the ball into windows he can fit the ball in. Instead, he's second guessing it, and then that's when he's getting sacked. Or I feel like now he's playing to not mess up instead of playing to succeed.
I think there's a lot of truth in that, and looking at, like, from where we were sitting, we did have the ability to watch our offense obviously play from the bird's eye view twice with their backs to us. And it surprises me, and obviously we're a long ways away, but it surprises me how Ty is not taking off to run when guys are covered down the field.
Yep.
And he has between 8 and 15 yards of free space where he could get 7 to 10 yards and make the defense pay. And he has the ability to do it.
Yeah.
But this to me is Ty against Ty, and him, he has the goods in order to do it. And he's got to be, like you say, he's got to be willing to make mistakes in order to break out of whatever this slump is. And we've seen flashes, we've seen his ability to make the proper throw. And he is his own worst enemy right now. And the coaching staff is not helping this football team offensively because they are not able to put a package together that allows us to run the football, which I think is more of a scheme and execution issue which is causing unnecessary stress on Ty, who does not have a significant amount of playing time experience. So in order to fix some of these things at 10 games into the season, it feels sort of like our coaching staff has peaked with the current package that we have. And it's going to be up to them to help this team make a stride to the next level in order to open up the run game. But what are they changing? I know they had the different the different group in. They had the group from Georgia, which theoretically we got 88 yards and Daniel Hill had some good runs, but that to me is where the limit is. They have got to be able to lead Ty, like challenge him to grow. And I feel for him because he looks a little disoriented in the press conferences, and if he could find a way to unlock his ability just to go play football again instead of feeling like he's got to make everything perfect. I think you articulated it great, Austin, like he's playing not to lose. And when you play prevent, a lot of times you lose. And, truly it caught up to this time, and maybe the team, because in what world do you think we're going to be giving away the football? And hey, had it not been for another penalty, Ty would have thrown another interception in that game as well,
Yeah.
Well, and that's why going into this game, I started, towards the end of the week, I had a lot of confidence because I went back and watched them play Tennessee and noticed Tennessee spotted them 17 points off of turnovers. And I thought, that's not what we do.
Right.
We don't turn the ball over. We don't make those mistakes. And then to see it happen, it was just a complete 180 of what I thought it would be. Because I knew as long as we didn't turn the ball over, we would be fine. They scored 7 points on offense other than field goals. I mean, if you told me they would score 7 points on offense, I'd say we win by 14 points.
Without a doubt.
And it's just uncharacteristic mistakes. But I kind of look at it as, it's a little different, but in as far as kind of mindset, hitters in baseball, when they get in a slump, you got to keep swinging. And the faster we realize that, the better. I think Ty's just got to, he's got to go play free. Just is what it is.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with you. And, while Bill or Amber in this situation, how do we have such a sloppy game? I'm not going to even take for a second the excuse that they had a bye week before us, because we had a bye week before LSU and didn't perform, greatly on offense. I mean, we scored 20 points, but that is nothing compared to what our potential is. But at 10 games, playing your 10th game, how do you lose concentration? How do you not have the proper focus and know, that you're controlling your own destiny? You're writing a ticket to the SEC championship, likely to play an undefeated Texas A&M and to restore your prominence. And how does this happen on game 10 where you just don't focus enough, or you don't complete? I don't know. You just have a letdown and you play a sloppy football game at home for homecoming. How does that happen?
Okay, first off, what idiot said, let's make Oklahoma our homecoming game? Like, what? It's like South Carolina making Alabama their homecoming game. Like, who was that stupid? That's my first question. My second question is, why do people not talk about the voodoo more? Because I believe in my whole heart there is Auburn voodoo. There is at South Carolina voodoo. There is Oklahoma voodoo for Alabama. We have yet to beat them. We have yet to beat them in the regular season. Ever in the history of playing them, we have never beat them in the regular season. Why? Like, what's so special about Oklahoma? Nothing. What's it's like Auburn, and there's nothing special about Auburn, but we go to Jordan Hare, which we do in like 10 days or 12, however
At
many.
night.
At night?
Yeah.
Jordan Hare night game voodoo is so real. And I don't know why more people don't talk about it.
I'm gonna tell you right now, if they want a second put back on that clock, the referees better say no.
Well, I don't know how the attention to detail gets lost. And I think something that Brooks Austin said that really resonated with me as far as the run game goes, I want to give him props. You know, he said, hey, are we even practicing hard enough? I don't know if you all had an opportunity to look at that. He did a 10-minute spot on the Bama Oklahoma game. And I think that speaks volumes, because how else does the run game not improve? Because you have top tier talent, you've got top tier scheme, and you have an abject failure after failure in execution. So there's only one piece left. You know, it's attitude, effort, and actions that come along. So if you have guys that don't have the confidence to know what they're supposed to do and execute it 100%, are they practicing like they should? Are they practicing as hard as they should on the run game? Because it's not translating into any more progress. Like less than 100 yards, even though it's against the SEC's best defense, it's unacceptable. And so why do we not dot our I's and cross our T's and execute appropriately? Where is the lack of preparation or the focus? Where does that stand? And I couldn't really tell Coach DeBoer's body language on the sideline. I have to defer to you guys watching the game on TV. Where was that? Where was Coach DeBoer's energy?
Well, there was a couple of times he was fussing at some refs. They did show that, which Austin was also fussing at refs, you know, because they can hear him from the TV in our living room.
Okay.
Other than that, I don't really know. They didn't. I don't feel like they showed him that much.
They kept showing Brent Venables.
Yeah, and who wants to see him and his potty mouth? Oh my God!
He got on. He did get on the tie. The one time he got on to Ryan Williams when he fumbled.
Yes, I see. Yeah, they did show
he
that.
was animated. But then my question would be to Coach DeBoer, why did and I know what they said. They put Ryan back there hoping he would break one. Well, Coach, had you rather have a sure-handed guy?
Horrible. Cole Adams has been phenomenal.
Cole Adams has done it all year. We get the ball wherever he catches it and start from there, or you want to risk a fumble and this happens. So I had to question that move. Why? But if Quincy, to go back to what you were talking about the run game, that one clip that Austin just showed, I mean, all he had to do, why could he not see this hole, the wide open field to his left? I mean, that's a good running back. They see this.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Make the cut and go.
Well, and I'm sorry. Go ahead, Wild Bill.
They get up to the line of scrimmage and he stops and he's trying to pick a hole in this. You had a 10-yard hole right there.
Well, and Ryan Grubb too in his press conference, he talked about the offensive line actually creating holes this week and the backs not running through them.
That was something to your credit, Austin, that's something that we saw from our bird's eye view. We had a great view, like if you were playing an old Madden game or something, that's where we were. And the vision of the backs did not seem on par with our blocking scheme because we were not taking advantage of the seams that were opening up based on what we saw. And so that would go back to what Brooks is talking about. That would go back to how hard are you practicing? What kind of repetition do you have? Because right now we are not a championship caliber football team.
Yep.
We have yet to peak. We have yet to play our best complete and total football game. And so my question to us is, as a football team, which they'll never ask, is what do we do to put it all together? When do we realize what is truly at stake? Because it seems like we've had some sort of fatigue going on the last few games offensively, that we don't start fast, we don't take command of the field, and we don't impose our will on teams. And that's just something that is not happening. The defense, on the other hand, those guys are playing nasty. They were put in some very, very poor situations, and the offense not sustaining drives. And hey, arguably they'll say, hey, you had 34 minutes time of possession. Yeah, well, I think 6 minutes of that, or maybe a little better, was on that last drive that we came away with nothing. So the defense just blows me away with how they can bend and not break. And they were put in some ugly, ugly situations. Like I said, even on that, punt return, turnovers, and then, some great plays. So at what point, and look, this will sound crazy, but I thought in the last game against LSU, I thought Ty should have taken a series on the bench in order to to put Mac or Keelan out there, in order to kind of give him a minute to compose himself, because he's just not playing as effectively as he could. And I don't know if that helps him or hurts him as far as his resiliency goes. But something's got to break him out of the slump, or we are going to finish. We're going to have a 9 or 10 win season, and we're not going to achieve. The goals that this team has set out, and they have all the potential. Yeah. They are just lacking the ability to adapt offensively and execute, which they did great against South Carolina. We had a killer drive at the end to win. LSU scored 9 points. Props to our defense who shut them down. But our offense it's not coming along. It's not progressing. If it's the receivers who aren't catching the ball, then it's Ty who's not passing the ball well. If it's Ty who's not passing the ball well, then we're not running the football well. And, I would love to see them work some things out against Eastern Illinois and get prepared to peak at the right time against Auburn and get into the playoffs. But
yeah,
I don't know y'all's thoughts.
Now, this may be an unfair question, but why has our running back progression gotten worse every year for the last 5 or 6 years?
Yeah, I think that's actually a great question. And
I wonder if some of the absolute dogs that they've had in the backfield have covered up other things, and now we're maybe not as talented as we were. It's hard to know that because, your offensive line's got to block and you've got to run through the holes, so you don't know which one is really the issue. But seeing holes be there and nobody hit them makes me go, are they just are we not as coached as well in the backfield as we thought we were? Well, because the talent may have hit it.
Let me say this, and I think we have a supremely talented backfield. Here's something that's curious to me. The last few years of Coach Saban's tenure, our offensive line was one of the biggest problems we had.
Yeah.
And there were issues with discipline. Now, if I give credit where credit is due, our offensive line they have gone leaps and bounds above and beyond where we've been, because they're not making penalties. So their discipline there, something has gotten better.
The team in general is more disciplined than it's been in 5 years.
True. And the offensive line was a big part of our problem historically over the last 3 to 4 years. So that has improved. So the question is, if they're not executing properly, when Ty checks a play at the line, whose responsibility is it to direct the scheme? And do we know the scheme? So there's just one or two things that are lacking in execution because they're more disciplined than they've been.
Yeah.
And that is with various guys in various places. So the discipline is there. We're just missing the execution piece. And this is something that can improve. And since we haven't seen the best of them yet, how do we turn that on? Because, that Oklahoma was the best defense, or is the best defense, I guess, respectively in the SEC. And we were able to have a lot of success against them. So what is the next piece of this to come in line so that we actually execute and capitalize on this new level of discipline that we have?
Yeah.
Because that's something I'm just thinking about right now that has changed entirely. I think we had 2 penalties for 25 yards. So, there is some sort of improvement, but I just don't know where. And the coaching staff obviously doesn't know where the answer is. And that's why I say they've peaked at that particular level of their scheme. And they have to find a way to improve in this area. And I don't know how that happens this week and against Auburn. I just don't know what changes, but I hope they get something there. And truly, I hope Ty can find a way to get past himself and just play football. And that's a big ask because there's a lot of weight on his shoulders.
Yeah.
But that's where he would thrive if he could just let loose and play ball. And so I don't know where the disconnect is. I hope there's no problems in the locker room and that's causing some strife and division. So I don't know where we go from there. And I didn't get to watch any of the press conferences today. I don't know what the vibe is from the coaching staff.
That's what I was about to say. I was about to say, Austin, do you have any Coach DeBoer or Womack or?
I mean, it feels like any other loss.
we got to do better.
Yeah,
we got to do better.
I mean,
that is not a selling point for Bill Smith. I can tell you that right now.
I mean,
he don't want to hear we got to do better.
When he says it every time,
I don't like
to do better.
I don't like coach speak, and we've heard that, I mean, credit where it's due. We've heard that the last few weeks while winning. Maybe it just irks me a little more when we're hearing the same thing and they lost. But
that's a good sign though, because we all know that Coach Saban was riding them whether they were winning or losing. So maybe that's a good sign.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. We haven't seen the drastic change when seeing that for the last 3 or 4 weeks. I mean, the last game where Alabama executed super, super well, even in the second half, I feel like is Vanderbilt. I feel like since then, Missouri had a good defense. Missouri had a better defense than Vanderbilt. So I feel like we kind of blamed it on these good defensive lines when we've went backwards, and I don't know what changed and how you fix it.
And then what does the SEC championship look like? We have one loss in the SEC. I think Oklahoma.
If we beat Auburn,
in.
It's going to come down to the Georgia-Alabama tiebreaker, and Alabama has the head-to-head win. We should be in.
We control our destiny.
Yeah.
That blows me away because Georgia has one loss. I know it's to us, and then Ole Miss has one loss to Georgia. So how do we still find ourselves with an opportunity to go to the SEC championship? And I kind of thought it might be better if we didn't go.
I agree with that. I agree with that because then you avoid a possible loss.
But hey, you know what? I'd rather die with my boots on. Let's get to that championship game, and let's go put it Let's go take it to A&M and cause them their first loss of the season. And if we do it how we do it and we peak at the right time, we don't get a bye week, which I don't think we need, and we get in and we get our opportunities. So,
well, if you win the SEC championship, you'd get a bye week.
Oh, you think so? Even at 2
Yeah.
losses?
They're going to be one of those top 4 regardless. If they win, it's going to be the 4 champions probably.
Okay, I thought maybe since A&M would have 1 loss, that would still warrant them to be in the top 4.
I think they've got to put an SEC champion in the top 4. At least that's what everybody's saying.
I don't know.
So,
All
Just
right.
win.
Well, what I want to point out really quick before we go ahead and transition, we've been talking about this for quite some time. Clearly, nobody won predictions this week. So we're going to prepare ourselves for, who is it? Eastern Illinois, and our predictions for that. Before we do, I sent this in our group earlier.
14-10 is my prediction.
Shut up. I want to point out something that I did send in the group earlier. They pointed this out on the next round. Apparently, Gus Malzahn and Brent Venables are Alabama's kryptonite. We are 9-12 all time against teams with either a Gus offense or a Brent defense, which I thought was just wild. But then I got to thinking about it, and I'm like, that's accurate, and that's terrifying because I hate Gus Malzahn. So I'd really like to start beating him, but I just don't know. I think our defense now could beat FSU. I think they could. That's what upsets me, is that we can't talk about like progress in the offense, and that overshadows how far our defense has come from game 1. Like, I think that our defense right this second would beat FSU, and that would be a different game. But I mean, we lost that game, and we had a 8-game run. So that was great. But here we are now. So, anywho, before we get into closing thoughts, last questions, last rants or trails, I'm gonna go ahead and get us a note started with some predictions. So, Quincy, do you happen to have Josh's? Or no?
I do not. Okay. We'll have to get that from him.
Okay. All right. Well, we will start with who's on my screen first. That's not me, and we'll go with Austin Dash.
No. Come back to me.
Okay, Wild Bill, you're the eldest. Go, Wild Bill.
38-3.
That is that's ridiculous, Wild Bill, because I put 38-3. So thanks for that.
Okay, I just want you guys to know, and that's what
I'm saying.
Yeah, I did. I'm going to mark it out, and I'm going to give you guys the quarter by quarter excitement.
Oh,
I was very close.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I was very close this last week. Just want you to know that.
Can I tell you something before you break this down?
Yes.
Well, we both got to give our.
You guys need to think twice about this, because this team is 3-8 and they average 19.3 points per game. So,
well, I'm giving them 3. We'll have a turnover to give them a short field so they can at least kick a field goal.
All right, Austin, what's yours? He
said 14-10.
This is stupid. 59 to 10.
Gosh.
Well, you're going to get a giggle out of mine because
I shouldn't even give them 10 on this defense. I don't know that they score, honestly.
I'm going 47-0.
I don't know that they score.
Oh, my goodness.
It happened the week after FSU. Why not? One more time.
All right, Mr. Q
To
Dog.
give us the hot before we go into the voodoo that is Shornair.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is the way things are gonna play out. I'm getting better as I go. I was very close this past week, just for the wrong team. But Alabama could have made me whole by actually winning the football game on that last drive. But with that being said, Alabama's going to come out and start fast for the first time in a long time. They're going to score a fat 14 points, and they are going to win the first quarter 14-0. Going to slow roll the second quarter, work on the running game, get some drive going. They're actually going to win the second quarter 7-3, which puts us at 21-3 for halftime. The defense is going to come out. We're going to get a lot of folks to play, get some opportunities in the second half so we can strengthen our run in the playoffs. And we are going to score offensively 17 points. It'll be 17-0 in the third quarter. And we're going to get to see Austin Mack in the second half. He is going to score at minimum of 14 points in the last quarter, which is going to bring your score, Alabama 52 and Eastern Illinois 3, for your 9th victory of the season for the Crimson Tide. And we're looking forward to getting that 9th victory. That doesn't get us out of the woods because we won 9 games last year. So we've got some things to prove. And the team's not going to look ahead. I think they've had their final wake-up call, and they're getting ready to be the buzzsaw that we need for them to be. The pressure is off, and now it's all power to the right foot on the gas. Let's go, Alabama. Roll Tide.
Roll Tide. That's everybody's predictions. I did text Josh to ask his, but I don't know that he'll send it before. So we got the Q-Dog 52-3. We've got Austin 59-10, Wild Bill 38-3, and Amber's crazy and says 47-0. So we'll see how that shakes out. So we ended up having quite a bit to talk about, which I knew we would. We've got some folks saying roll tide right back. We got our buddy Blake. I forget they're Alabama fans. And then my mom, who's sending us in the all right. Before we sign off, Wild Bill, do you have any final thoughts? Or is your heart and mind a believer?
Roll Tide. Take no prisoners. Get ready to go to the ugliest village on the plain.
Ugliest.
Smelliest village on the plain.
That's right.
All right. How about you, the Smash Dash? Because you were definitely the Smash on Saturday.
Okay. Yeah. Get through this week and then go play Auburn. Hopefully we see something happen, but this team is so bad, I don't know that it even helps you to play them. So here we go. Roll Tide.
Roll Tide. What about you, Q-Dog? What you got?
Well, props to you on doing a great job of hosting the show tonight. So, number one, thank you very much for that. I thought you did a fantastic job getting the conversation going, making it more like a family atmosphere as opposed to our typical, 4-quarter setup. So, very, very well done. And what I have to say is I just don't believe we've seen the best that this football team has to offer. And there's no fan on the planet, Quincy Moran, Amber Dash, anybody included, that wants it as bad as this football team wants it. They're the ones that put in the blood, the sweat, the tears, the time, and the effort. And so, my call to action that it's likely they'll never hear is just prepare yourself to steal every soul that you get on the field with from here on. Make an example out of Eastern Illinois and let Auburn know you're coming. And who cares who's in front of you? Play the team that's on the field and get into absolute domination mode. Ty Simpson, be great, like we know that you're great. Don't worry about the Theismann. Don't worry about the stats. Just go out there and do what you do, which is play great football. You've done it for such a long time. I know the pressure's tough, but brother, get out there, get after it. And let me also say this one final thing. I absolutely loved when the team came on the field. There was a significant group of guys that came to the end zone where the student section was, and they knelt down and said, their prayers, and they just exercised their faith publicly. So as much as we scrutinize you guys on your playing, which is, it's out there, you're professional athletes now. Thank you for representing Christ and going out and showing your faith. I was impressed. It was very heartwarming to me, and glad to see it. Now let's go get it done against Eastern Illinois. Roll Tide.
Roll Tide. All right, guys. Well, I said my things. Hold on. I see Wild Bill waving down here.
I said, thank you, Jenny, for letting Quincy be on.
All the hand claps. All the hand claps. I said the things I had to say. So no final thoughts here except Roll Tide for the Q Dog, for Smash Dash, because that's his new name for me too. And Wild Bill, I'm Amber. Thanks for joining us today. Hope we have a better episode to talk about a win next week. Roll Tide, everybody.
One message for you from your aunt. She will bust both of you in the head. Can y'all hear me?
Not rocket science,
I think you, like me, have a face for radio.
Can y'all hear me?
We gonna play with the players we got. The next man up.
That's why it sucks.
I'm not talking to you. I'm not talking to you.
This kind of unprofessionalism does not need to be tolerated. I mean it. Like,
Can y'all hear me? Can y'all hear me? Can y'all hear me? Can y'all hear me?
what the hell is going on here? Just all hang up.
Another episode of the BS Podcast.
Hang on,
Host
hang
Quincy
on,
Moran.
hang on. There's all kinds of noise in my ear now.
Oh, jeez.
We need a little bit more professionalism.